Things you were never meant to know about.
Out in the universe, they were horrified. They said, "Oh my God, the kids have found the matches."
We are being engaged as a planet and as a species by other beings.
The biggest secret in the history of our world is about to be revealed.
Rocket scientist John Parsons, better known in occult circles as Jack Parsons, was born. A brilliant rocket engineer, Parsons soon entered into correspondence with SS Nazi officer Werner von Braun, and by the age of 13 had begun summoning evil spirits and demons using magical rituals which Parsons had learnt from British occultist Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley styled himself as the Beast, and Jack Parsons referred to Aleister Crowley as his father. Jack Parsons revered the English Satanist Aleister Crowley, and eventually became the leader of one of Crowley's secret cults called the OTO.
I want to talk to you about the Iraq War today. I spoke about the Iraq War yesterday and focused on strategy, our national security strategy. 5 years ago, the Iraq War began, and on this 5th anniversary, we honor the brave men and women who are serving this nation in Iraq, Afghanistan, and around the world. And we pay tribute to their sacrifices.
After 4 known failures, the Soviet Union has succeeded in putting an observation craft on the moon, a step deemed necessary before a manned landing. The U.S. expects to land a surveyor package within 4 months. America's target date for a man on the moon is 1969 or 70. The Russians have never publicized a date. The Western world had their first word of the successful probe from an English source, the Jodrell Bank Observatory near Manchester. Here, with the world's largest antenna, they recorded pictures sent out by Lunar 9. The Russians were curiously reluctant to release the moon pictures themselves, and it was 2 days later before the Russian people could see their own space feet. Later, they said that the craft had stopped transmitting, but British scientists were still receiving signals. It was the same Soviet story of shrouding their space research in secrecy. The pictures show that the soil is rough-textured and sponge-like with little dust, ideal for landing a manned spacecraft.
With equal parts of moon and the spaceship called Eagle. We heard the voice of Commander Armstrong directing the landing. "Forward, forward," he said. Then the newsman we all knew, Walter Cronkite, exclaimed, "Man on the moon!" For a split second we were silent. The whole universe must have been, as we waited, waited, waited to hear the voice of an astronaut 240,000 miles away. And then, "Houston, Tranquility Base here," Commander Armstrong said. "The Eagle has landed."
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosen. In 1974, after being a 6th grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Wernher von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him, during that first 3.5 hours, he said to me, "Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space." And I said, you know, teachers don't stop until June. He said, "No, you have to understand, this is February, and we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies," he said, "against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system, the first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids." And then he would repeat to me over and over, "And the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat."
Wernher von Braun, an enigmatic figure of the 20th century. To some, he is a trailblazer, a visionary, a genius. To others, an unscrupulous opportunist, prepared to make a pact with the devil if it suits his purpose.